Brought to you by Almond Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
You might think that something seems off about Charlie Widlund's 1964 Allis Chalmers D21, and you're right, it's the color. This is an industrial version, so instead of the traditional Persian orange, his tractor is painted highway yellow.
We got it out of Washington State, Linden, Washington actually. It was up there for the national show, and then we ended up bringing it home on a load. I've always been looking for one. I didn't think I'd probably ever own one. That came up, the guy gave me a call, it came up for sale. He says this is what he wanted for it, and I talked to my wife and I says, man, I'd really like to have that D21 industrial. Well, here it is in Iowa.
The D21 was a game changer for Allis Chalmers. It's the company's first tractor to produce over 100 horsepower.
That was their first step into big tractors with big farming. That was one of the biggest, probably steps up from that in the D series. They were looking for something big to pull grain drills and different things like that, and they thought they could get into that market with this tractor.
Behind that squared-off grill with the chrome trim sits a brute of an engine. The six-cylinder, 426 cubic inch diesel produces 103 horsepower at the PTO and 93 at the drawbar. Designers gave the D21 new styling elements like full fenders, a rear-mounted fuel tank, field lights, and a large operator's platform. There were also comfort features like hydrostatic steering, a tilt steering wheel, and a suspended seat mounted on an incline track.
The visibility is probably one of the big things that I like about the D21. Just when you're driving it, you can see all over. You're sitting way up there. You got that open platform that you can move your feet around. It relatively shifts sort of nice. The hydraulics are in a handy spot right down along your side, so the hydraulics are real good. Throttles is up off your side. Sometimes you got to reach up a little bit extra for it, but it's where it moves easy, and actually the steering works nice, and it's just a nice all about running tractor.
These industrial models are especially desirable to collectors, but no one is sure exactly how many are out there.
There were quite a few D21s made. There's, as far as the industrials, we don't really have a number on how many industrials are actually made. Allis Chalmers didn't keep a very good count on tractors, what they built, the different brands, different kinds. There's just no information about that.
One problem is that some people will take a regular D21 and paint it yellow to try and pass it off as an industrial version. But there are a couple of extra details that help you spot the real deal. The oversized hitch on the back is one tell, along with the 3 hydraulic hookups. There's also the foot feed throttle, which would be a handy feature for anyone pushing a scraper.
You can run your foot on the foot feet just like on a car, and you can keep your steady pressure up against the scraper all the time with that foot feet, so you don't have to use your hand on the throttle.
Another interesting feature on this D21 is the toolbox, which is technically located in the wrong place.
The toolbox on this tractor should have been in the inside of the frame with a split lid. The split lid was being in the inside of the frame. You couldn't open the lid because of the fuel filter. So only about 2/3 of the lid would open up. So a lot of them got taken out of inside that frame, sort of an unhandy place. Hard thing to find. I've been looking for one for a long time. I can't find one.
Charlie loves sharing his tractors with others. For the past several years, he's hosted an open house on Labor Day weekend, where he shows off his collection. And Charlie and his wife have an Allis Chalmers museum where they display the memorabilia they've collected over the years.
We've got a little mini museum where we have different things in there like mini bikes and Allis Chalmers refrigerators, welders, chainsaws, golf carts, and things like that. We opened that up Pretty much all year, as long as we're here. But we have a lot of people stop. I suppose 3 or 4 times a week we have people stop. We've got people from a lot of other states stop and enjoy the museum and going and walking through and looking at the tractors.
Although Charlie has several sheds full of orange tractors, he didn't know he'd become such a big collector when he bought his first one in 1976. The original plan was to restore a few classics as a way to plan for retirement.
I told my wife, we don't, as being a farmer, we don't have a retirement plan. And so I says, if I restore 1 tractor a year, when we retire, we can sell 1 tractor a year. Well, that might have got a little bit out of hand. She says it's gotten a lot out of hand, but every time I buy one and I bring one home, I say, this is the last one. I lied to it a lot. Yeah, there's definitely where a person lies a lot about that, but yeah, there's always that thing that you always want extra. You're always on the hunt. The hunt is a fun thing, and so you're always on the hunt for something different.
Don't worry, Charlie. You're not the first person to give in to the powerful pull of classic tractor fever.
Somebody told me in 1976, when I first started buying my first pieces and working on my first pieces, that we'd ever have this much fun at doing this. I would have said, nah, it ain't gonna happen. But I tell you, it's a disease, and it's a non-curable disease. That's about the only way I can put it, because once you've ever got that disease, it's hard to get rid of.